Good afternoon once again. This is Tracy Gruber, the Director of the Office of Child Care. We want to start by thanking you for joining us to learn more about the Child Care Quality System License Center pilot that the Office of Child Care is getting ready to launch. But before we do, we want those who are interested to learn more about the pilot. We know your days are incredibly busy and it's difficult to carve out time in the middle of the day to get on a call, so we appreciate you taking the time in your very busy day, and we are very sensitive to that time, so we will move quickly. A couple of housekeeping measures. One, all of your phones are muted. We at the Office of Child Care have muted all of the phone lines so that there's no background noise. And you have the ability to ask us questions through the chat feature on the GoToWebinar. So there is a chat box on your screen and you can enter your questions in that chat box. We have people here in our office monitoring those questions. If it is a very specific question to your program, we will make sure to follow up with you after the webinar. If it is a more general question that we believe will be interest of everybody on the call, we'll take time to answer that question. I will be speaking first and then Carrie Phillips. When Carrie's done, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and then Joellen Robbins will be speaking, and after Joellen, you'll be able to have an opportunity to ask questions during that time as well. But again, please use that chat feature. We were limited to the number of programs that could participate in the webinar. We only have access for 26 programs to participate. However, we will be sharing the link to the webinar, so if something comes up while you're on the call and you have to get off of it, we will be making sure that all programs throughout the state that are licensed centers get the link to this webinar so that they can hear more about the pilot. I'm going to provide just a quick overview of the child care quality system, which I think many of you on the call already are familiar with. We have been doing this framework design for the past year, and we have just concluded meetings throughout the state at the Care About Child Care agencies, meeting with providers to go through the framework. As a reminder, when the Congress reauthorized the Child Care Development Fund, which is the funding stream for all child care in the state of Utah, they made a change to that law that requires all of the states throughout the nation, when establishing child care subsidy rates, to consider quality. So we have started to try and meet that requirement and make sure that in Utah we are considering quality when we establish subsidy rates. So that's the primary reason that we're doing this. Fortunately, they have given us the opportunity to define what that means in our state. And at the Office of Child Care, we have had 4 guiding principles as we've moved forward in designing the framework. The first principle is that we wanted the framework to be flexible and provider-led. We wanted to make sure that providers had the opportunity to determine what areas of quality they wanted to focus on within the framework, and we wanted to make sure that the system was flexible enough to do that. So that was our first guiding principle. The other guiding principle is that we wanted the quality to be attainable for providers. We wanted to make sure that although it is a new way of establishing quality in our state, that providers are going to be able to attain it, and while also ensuring that the components of their quality system are guided by research. So flexible and provider-led is the first principle, attainable is the second principle. The third principle is that we needed it to be affordable. both for us at the Office of Child Care in the state of Utah, and for you providers. If we were going to be requiring a certain component, we felt that it was our responsibility to ensure that we were help sharing in the costs of that particular component. So we wanted to make sure that it was affordable. And then the last guiding principle is we wanted to make sure that families could easily understand our quality system. One of the other changes that were made to the federal law is that where there is a quality system, we are required by law to make that information public. So on the Care About Child Care website, that information will be made public as we're required to do, and we wanted it to be easily understood for the consumer. So with that and those guiding principles and the foundation for why we're moving forward in doing this, we have now moved on to the next phase of this, which is developing a pilot program that has 3 primary purposes. And I'm going to let Carrie Phillips take it over from here and talk in greater depth about the child care quality system, and then pass it on to Joellen Robbins.
Hi, welcome everybody. I am going to talk for just a really briefly kind of an overview of the child care quality system and what is happening with it right now. And sorry the slides are going so crazy. We're just learning how to do this. So the child care quality system, we refer to it always as CCQS. And there are 4 ratings in the child care quality system. So one of those is foundation of quality, building quality, high quality, and high quality plus. And we will be paying an enhanced subsidy payment when we get to the high quality or high quality plus portions of this program. So when programs get up to there, they will receive a higher subsidy payment from the Office of Child Care. So we're going to briefly go over all the components of the child care quality system. There are 5 things that we're looking at where research and evidence has shown that it to be a positive outcome for children. And one is health and safety, learning environments and relationships, leadership and professional development, management and administration, and accreditation. So we'll go into a little bit of depth on each of these in the next few minutes. So the first one is health and safety, and that includes licensing compliance, which means we'll be looking at the number of public findings that a program has in a 12-month period, and participation in a program which supports health and safety. And currently that includes Top Star, Nature Explore Outdoor Classroom, and Eco Healthy Childcare. And so those programs, you can get points for those. We're giving points in each of these components because it does give that flexibility that Tracy talked about to help providers shine where they shine and be able to get the rating they need while focusing on their strengths while they're doing it. So the next component is learning environments. And let me see if my clicker works. There we go, went too far. Learning environments and relationships, there we go, which includes quality indicators. And most of you are already familiar with quality indicators. They are indicators that can support a quality environment. They are verified on site during an unannounced inspection by child care licensing. The second one is observations. These are done with a nationally recognized tool, the environment rating scales, so ITERs, ECHRs, and also the school age PQA if you have a school age classroom in your program. We will be doing observations in each age group, and the age groups include infants, toddlers and twos, preschool, and school age. So you'll be getting at least 1 observation for each age group that you care for children for. In large programs, you could receive more observations because we will be doing at least 1/3 of the classrooms in that age group. So if you had 4 classrooms of preschoolers, you would get 2 of the ECHRS observations. We can only observe a caregiver in one classroom, so we want to make sure we get a variety, and the classrooms will be randomly selected the day of the observation. And then family engagement, we have points that you can get in family engagement. You'll need to collect a portfolio of policy and documentations. That portfolio will be able to be uploaded, or it can be reviewed on site when an observer comes to do the observation. The next component is leadership and professional development. We'll be looking at the education of the director and the education of caregivers. Just make sure your documentation for any of your career ladder courses or training that you're taking is all uploaded. Your degrees are all uploaded on URPD's website, the Utah Registry for Professional Development, so that you can get credit for those points for those education that the director and the caregivers in your program have. The next component is management and administration. This is where we're going to look at the education and professional development of the person responsible for the business operations of the program. This can be the same person as the director, but it might be somebody different. So whoever's taking care of the business operations of the program, we're going to look at that person, and you can get points based on that. And this includes the NAC or career ladder courses that have to do with business and finances in a program. Those are just some of the things. There are more that are included that you can get points on. So are there any questions that have come up on this section? Nope, not at this time. So then, accreditation. I forgot accreditation. You can get points for accreditation from an independent third-party nationally recognized organization because research has shown that that program is continually working to provide high-quality care. So that being said, we will now talk about the pilot. I'll turn the time over to Joellen.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm glad to be with you today. I'm going to get my slides in order here. Oops, wrong way. Every time you get a transition to a new person, they're going to have to figure it out, I guess. I apologize. Okay, so we're going to talk first why we're doing a pilot. As you can imagine, this project is a huge project. We've been working on the planning of this for more than a year, and so we saw the wisdom in doing it on a small scale before we start introducing it into the entire state. So the purposes of the pilot are first to develop a simple process for CCQS. We want to be able to evaluate our processes. Those that are accepted to the pilot will also have to then apply for a rating. They'll have to go through the same process that we anticipate programs will go through when it goes statewide. You'll also receive technical support and go through the observation process. So we want to be able to evaluate the effectiveness of our technical support. We want to make sure that our OCC staff has had the opportunity to evaluate the guidance that they're giving to our partners in the Care About Child Care agencies, Utah After School Network, and those individuals that do technical assistance on our behalf. So we want to make sure that the technical support we're providing is effective and that it does help move programs to improving their quality. So we need this pilot to train all of those individuals so that we'll be ready for October 2019 implementation. We will be gathering a lot of feedback and collecting a lot of data throughout the pilot from the programs. So those individuals that participate will need to be willing to provide information to us and be very open and honest about how the process works for them, so that we can assure that when we do this statewide that it will be a well-oiled machine, hopefully, by that time. So who's eligible? Who's eligible for the pilot? So there are some requirements in place in order to apply to be one of the centers that participate. And all the programs that receive the technical assistance and all of the other support have to meet the following requirements. So you have to be a licensed center, and you may not be on a conditional license. You cannot have more than 2 public findings since July 10th, 2017. And that is because this aligns with our framework. So in order for a person to be able to apply for a rating in the real system, they cannot have more than 2 public findings. So for the pilot, it is aligned with that thought. You cannot be currently participating in any of the following Office of Child Care grants. So if you are currently receiving a Baby Steps grant, a 2-year-old grant, a preschool project grant, a Stronger Starts grant, a high quality school readiness, or a high quality school readiness expansion, you will not be eligible to participate in the pilot. And the reason for that is because all of the programs that are participating in those grants have been receiving a fair amount of support for a while, and we really need to pilot this in programs where they're not already familiar with those processes, so that we can really get feedback that is from the very foundational pieces. So by the time of the application, if you would like to participate in the pilot, you need to be sure to have requested to have your quality indicators verified. So this is something you do on the child care licensing website. And what we'll do when we receive your applications is we'll go onto that website and make sure that it indicates that you have requested for your quality indicators to be verified. If you have not, we will not be able to accept your application. So when we're looking at the application process, really this is the simplest application process I think we've ever had. Programs will be selected based on the date of submission and meeting the criteria. So on June 25th, we're going to send out an email. It will come from the ccqs@utah.gov address, and it will give every program information on how to apply. The application includes basic information about your program, just information that we'll need to be able to see if your program meets the criteria that we've outlined in order to participate. So it's the acceptance to the pilot is based on how closely a program matches the requirements of a slot on the rubric. So we're going to look at the rubric in a minute, so just bear with me. If there's more than one program that matches the requirements for a slot, the first complete application received that meets those requirements will be selected. So this really is a first come, first serve based on meeting the requirements. On July 9th, we will email every program with a link to the application. So every program in the state will have access to the application at the same moment in time. And then in early August, we'll notify programs that are selected, and of course, we'll notify programs that were not also. So people will hear back from us whether or not they're going to be included in the pilot. So we do have a selection process established. There were a lot of things that we considered when we were trying to figure out how we were going to do this. We wanted to make sure that we had a wide range of inputs and process conditions, and we needed a small group of programs to really be able to give it the attention that we needed to. So there will be 13 programs accepted into the pilot, and we've targeted a variety. So we'll accept some small programs, some larger programs. We want some programs that are in the more urban areas. We want programs that are in the more rural areas. And we've actually developed criteria for each of your areas, which we will show you in the rubric. Right now, the rubric that we're using is to select programs is available online at jobs.utah.gov/occ/policy.html. And then you'll see there a space where it says Center Pilot and Rubric. And you'll click on that and you can see it. So the rubric's already available, it's just the application that is not. So the acceptance in the pilot is based on how closely a program matches the requirements of a slot on the rubric. And then of course, the first application received that matches it is the one that will be put in the pilot, as long as they meet all of the eligibility requirements that we already talked about. So here is the first section of the rubric. So this, so if you are located in Box Elder, Cache, or Rich County, we are going to be accepting one center into the pilot. That center needs to serve.
There's a problem with the sound.
Can you hear me?
The sound's working just.
Okay. Okay. So, so they need, the program that we're going to accept needs to serve children birth up through, up to at least 8 years. So all age groups have a license capacity of 25 or more. And in this particular, these particular counties, we're going to accept any subsidy percentage. So then next we have our Weber, Davis, and Morgan County area. We're going to be accepting 2 programs in this area. We're going to be accepting one that serves any ages with a license capacity of 50 to 99 children with a subsidy percentage of at least 15% or higher. The second slot will be given to a program that serves children birth to at least the 8th year that is licensed for 100 or more children with a subsidy percentage of 35% or higher. The next,
My computer's frozen.
oh, you're kidding. Okay, so, okay. We're just trying to get our computer to cooperate so you can see what we're talking about. Oh,
There you go.
how'd we go clear back?
We didn't, we have this like a slide now.
Okay, yes, I do. Okay, so then the next area, I'm just going to keep talking while they try to get the computer lined up, is located in the Salt Lake or Tooele County. Tooele counties. So in those 2 counties, we are going to be accepting 4 programs into the pilot. The first will need to serve children ages birth to at least the age of 8, have a license capacity of 15 to 49 children, and can serve any percentage of subsidy children. The next slot will be given to a program serving any age with a license capacity of 50 to 99 children and 15% or higher percentage of subsidy children. The third slot will be given to a program serving children birth to at least the 8th year with 150 or more children enrolled and, or actually a capacity, excuse me, and has a percentage of subsidy of 35% or higher. The last slot will be given to any program with any license capacity serving 50% or higher of subsidy children. So that is the Salt Lake and Tooele County area. The next area that we'll be accepting applications for would be located in Juab, Utah, Wasatch, or Summit County. We're going to have 2 programs in those 4 counties, and they will need to meet in the first program. They can serve any age of children. They need to have a license capacity of 50 to 99 children and have 15% or higher of children enrolled that are paid for with subsidy dollars. The second slot needs to have children birth to 8 years with a license capacity of 100 or more and a subsidy percentage of 35% or higher. Then in the southern part of the, or if we go a little further south, if a program is located in Carbon, Daggett, Duchesne, or Uinta, actually, I'm sorry, some south, some east, we'll have one slot for those counties that that program needs to serve children birth to 8 with a license capacity of 25 or more and a subsidy percentage of at least 10%. So next, we really are going to the southern part of the state now. So located in Emery, Grant, or San Juan County, we'll be accepting one program that serves children birth to the age of 8 with a license capacity of 15 or more and at least 10% or higher of a percentage of children receiving subsidy. The next one, located in San Pete, Millard, Sevier, Paiute, or Wayne County, will be accepting one program that serves children birth to at least the 8th year with a license capacity of 15 or more, and again, it's a 10% or higher percentage of subsidy. And then last, we have our Beaver, Garfield, Iron Cane, or Washington County. We will be accepting one program from those counties, serving children birth to 8 with a license capacity of 50 or more and a subsidy percentage of 35% or higher. So any program that wants to participate would first want to look at this rubric, go online and find the rubric, and figure out if you meet the specifications for the county that you're in that is required for the pilot. And then your next step, if you do, would be to go to the eligibility requirements and double check all of those. Do I have no more than 2 public findings? Do I, am I not on a conditional license? Have I said that, yes, I want my quality indicators inspected? And if you haven't, you can still do that as long as you do it before you turn in your application. So, so the next thing to talk about is how the Office of Child Care, how we plan to partner with programs. And so if you are in the pilot, really it's kind of like a 3-way partnership, because Office of Child Care guides the work, but our TA technical assistance is done by our partners in the Care About Child Care agencies and Utah After School Network. So we'll all be working together to provide support for you. So the benefits of participation is first that you'll have the opportunity to develop a quality improvement plan with an assigned specialist to support program success in the child care quality system. You'll also have an opportunity to receive some funding to support your quality improvement plan. And then you'll also receive coaching and technical assistance based on those goals. So your goals are based on the observation results and also on your framework and where it shows that where you need to invest money to be able to get yourself to high quality. And you'll have someone working with you as a partner all along the way to help you figure that out. Also, there are some things that you will need to do, and so we want to just be as transparent as possible about what your commitment is. So if you choose to apply and you're selected, you will have to attend a detailed orientation. So this particular, many of you may have participated on other grants in the past, and this process is very different. And so we want to make sure that you are going to understand everything that you're going to be asked to do. You'll have to apply to enter the system. And in order to do that, your application includes completing an online training on the child care quality system. You're going to need to give us all the information about your classrooms, your classroom names, however you designate those, and what caregivers are assigned to those rooms, including substitutes. You'll also need to complete a classroom self-evaluation for each age of children served. So the ages include infants and toddlers, 2-year-olds, preschoolers, and school-aged children. And then a family engagement self-evaluation is recommended, but not required. So, so you'll move through that process, and then you'll also need to agree to comply with all requirements for observations through, for the observations. So after your application's submitted, we'll contact you, and we will schedule a visit to come out and see you before your observation, and then you will receive an observation, and that will start the whole process. And so that will kind of jump us off. And then you'll have to have a follow-up observation as well. The initial observations we are anticipating will take place in September, October, around that time frame. The follow-up observations will not take place until July of next year. We're going to be working closely with you all the way up until the end of June, and then we'll come out and do those observations after we have it all wrapped up. So we are able to measure, you know, how much improvement each program was able to make in that time frame. We do recognize that this pilot is shorter than most of our quality improvement measures, and so I do want to say an encouraging word that I have very high confidence that every program will be able to make improvements, but sometimes to actually reach high quality, it may take longer than a 9-month process. So, we appreciate the people that are willing to participate and give us the opportunity to try this out with you. So we will, as I mentioned earlier, we will be asking you to provide feedback on all aspects of the system, and we'll want to hear from you on a regular basis, and we'll provide opportunities for you to provide that feedback. So that really explains the pilot. I'm going to turn it back over to Tracy Gruber.
Thanks, Joellen. We did, while Carrie and Joellen were talking, we did get one question regarding the specific components of the business education levels. What would we, if you go back to the framework, we had the management component of the framework, and programs could get points for business education. And there was a specific question about that. So some of the education, and I'm gonna have Carrie answer it, but you can have a bachelor's degree with at least 9 hours of college credits devoted to business coursework, an associate's degree with 6 hours of credits devoted to business management for 4 points. And then we also are giving 3 points for the NAC. In making sure that that NAC is kept up to, is current, and then some additional credits for career ladder coursework specific to business management. So if you take 10 hours of career ladder coursework that is specific to business management, programs can get some points that way. So that was the only question that came through while they were talking. We appreciate your patience as we were bearing through some technical difficulties. We think it's incredibly important that we provide information in a webinar format to accommodate for your very busy schedules, but sometimes that comes along with some technical challenges that we need to troubleshoot in the middle of the webinar. So as I said before, we did record the full webinar, and we will make sure that that's available. And there is another question that we'd like to answer. So Florencia, what was the question?
Where can we see the rubric at?
Okay, the rubric is available online, and Carrie's going to give the specific location of where you can find the rubric.
It is at jobs.utah.gov/OCC/policy.html.
So we'll say that again, jobs.utah.gov/policy.html. And you can type that in the chat feature as well so that they have that. And there's another question that we have.
Is a licensing observation required prior to submitting an application?
No. The question was, is the verification of the quality indicators had to have occurred, that actual observation of the quality indicators, in order to qualify for the pilot? Does that observation had to have taken place before applying for the pilot? And the answer to that question is no. However, in order to be eligible to participate in the pilot program, you have to have gone on to the licensing website and requested to have those quality indicators verified. So the observation does not have to have taken place before the application, but we will verify with child care licensing that your program has said that it will have its quality indicators verified. So that answers the three questions that we have that have come in. At this point, we don't have any additional questions. A reminder that emails from the child care quality system at utah.gov are not going to your spam. All correspondence regarding the child care quality system are coming from that email address. So it's incredibly important that you check your spam in your junk folders to make sure emails are not going to spam that are coming from that child care quality system email address. And that address is ccqs@utah.gov. So double check to make sure they're not going to spam. A reminder, the applications are going to be sent on July 9th. This application is incredibly simple. I encourage you, if you're interested, to get that application completed and submitted as soon as possible, because we will be filling slots according to that rubric on a first come, first serve basis.
We have one more question.
And there is one more question, and we'll take this last question. If you have other questions, don't hesitate to email us, and we'll make sure that we put together a frequently asked questions document that will go out with the link. And the last question is?
Where can you find the most updated information on the CCQS framework?
We will make sure that we send out the current framework from ccqs@utah.gov. We finished our last community meeting last night, and we wanted to make sure that all of those community meetings and the opportunity for framework happened before we sent the final framework out. We will make sure that that goes out with the link to the pilot. Thank you again for setting some time aside to learn more about the pilot. We look forward to working with you as we continue to roll out the child care quality system and partnering with you on the pilot. We think it's going to be a beneficial pilot project for you as programs, with an opportunity for technical assistance and some financial support, as well as the Office of Child Care, as we ensure an efficient and effective design of the system. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.